Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Bionca Ellis? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Bionca Ellis was born in the early 1990s and at some point lived in Cleveland, Ohio. In May 2023, Bionca was charged with theft for stealing $69 from a Walmart in North Olmsted, Ohio, which is about 18 miles west of Cleveland. She pleaded guilty to unauthorized use of property and received 6 months of probation. In January 2024, Bionca was arrested in Bakersfield, California, which is almost 2,400 miles west of North Olmsted. The police said that Bionca punched and kicked security guards after refusing to leave a hospital. She was found on the floor of an exam room and told the police that she needed to go to jail for the assaults she just committed. While in a police vehicle, Bionca said she wanted to do something to stay in custody for at least 2 weeks. She was charged with 3 counts of battery on person. After being released, she returned to Ohio. In February 2024, Bionca was at a women's shelter in Cleveland when she mentioned to staff there that she wanted to tell the police about a murder. After the police were contacted, Bionca claimed that she killed a white female bartender in California. She dumped the victim's body and did not know if the body had ever been found. The police could not find any case in California matching the story that Bionca told and determined that her confession was not valid. Bionca explained to the police that she wanted to kill someone in the shelter and to murder someone and eat their flesh. She was taken to a hospital for a mental health evaluation. In March 2024, Bionca was arrested in Kissimmee, Florida, for trespassing. This is over 1,000 miles south of North Olmsted, Ohio. The police said that Bionca attempted to rent a hotel room but didn't have the money. She then refused to leave the property. When they confronted her, Bionca told the police she wanted to go to jail. Her wish was granted. She was incarcerated for 1 month in Florida. On May 29, 2024, the police in North Olmsted, Ohio, received a call from a concerned citizen who had spotted a woman in a wheelchair in front of a Walmart store. The caller was concerned that the woman may need assistance. When the police arrived, they found Bionca in a wheelchair, making her way to a bus stop. She was arrested after the police realized she had an outstanding warrant. Bionca had been charged with violating probation in connection with her 2023 unauthorized use of property conviction. She failed to complete her theft education program as required. Ironically, she was taken to jail, which is kind of like a theft education program. She probably learned about all kinds of crimes there. Bionca seemed pleased with getting arrested, exclaiming, "I'm getting a free ride." In court, the magistrate noticed that Bionca was not responding to questions and appeared to be falling asleep. He ordered her to be held for a mental health evaluation, saying, quote, "I'm not sure she fully understands the simple requirements the court has imposed on her," unquote. On May 31, after no mental health clinicians became available to conduct the assessment, a judge disregarded the magistrate's recommendation and released Bionca. As it turns out, this was a catastrophic mistake. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On June 3, 2024, at about 2:30 p.m., 32-year-old Bionca Ellis went to the police station in North Olmsted, Ohio, and accused them of taking money from her during her May 29 arrest. She left the police station after being informed that the police did not take her money. Bionca abandoned the wheelchair not far from the police station and walked to the Volunteers of America thrift store on Lorraine Road in North Olmsted, where she shoplifted 2 knives. While still in possession of the stolen knives, she briefly visited another store before walking into a Giant Eagle supermarket at about 2:58 p.m. As Bionca walked through the store, she was holding one of the knives in her hand. It was in plain view. She walked right by people, and no one said anything. Bionca observed a 3-year-old boy named Julian Wood being pushed in a shopping cart by his 37-year-old mother, Margot. She started following the boy and his mother. There was no connection between Bionca and these two people. She was not acquainted with them in any way. Bionca continued to follow Julian and Margot as they exited the Giant Eagle store. This was only 90 seconds after Bionca entered the store. In the parking lot, as Margot was putting groceries in the trunk of her vehicle, Bionca approached Julian and stabbed him multiple times in the face and back with one of the stolen knives. Julian was still in the shopping cart at this time. Margot attempted to intervene and pulled her son away from Bionca. In response, Bionca stabbed Margot in the shoulder. Several different witnesses contacted the authorities. There was a chaotic scene in the parking lot as first responders rendered aid. Julian and Margot were both taken to a hospital. Julian did not survive. His mother Margot survived after being treated for her injuries. The police found Bionca Ellis a few minutes after the attack, walking toward Dover Center Road. She had a bloody knife in her hand. Officers placed her under arrest without incident. Bionca Ellis was charged with 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, 1 count of endangering children, 1 count of tampering with evidence, and 1 count of misdemeanor theft. At the time I'm making this video, she is being held on a $5 million bond. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. It is reasonable to believe that Bionca has serious mental health symptoms. For example, Bionca's defense told the court that there were notable mental health issues in her history. Bionca has clearly been to mental health facilities before. A magistrate recommended that she receive a mental health evaluation, and Bionca's mother suggested that the mental health system failed in this case. Prior to the killing, Bionca stopped taking her medication and had auditory hallucinations. Item number 2. Some people have been heavily critical of the judge who released Bionca, even calling for his resignation. After making a clear mistake by releasing her, the judge defended his decision by suggesting it would have been unjust for Bionca to sit in jail for days on a minor charge. The judge said, quote, "I am confident in the way the court handled the matter. We did it by the letter of the law. There was nothing to send up alarms." Unquote. He falsely claimed that there were no signs of mental distress or previous violent acts. The judge may not have had access to Bionca's criminal history or the report of her false murder confession. However, he clearly knew that she was being held for a mental health evaluation. How is that not a sign of mental distress? The judge should have left the evaluating to the mental health professionals and not interfered. Item number 3. What was Bionca's motive? There's no way to know for sure, but it may have been tied to a desire to be incarcerated. When she was arrested for assault in California, she told the police that she needed to go to jail. She also said she wanted to be in jail for 2 weeks. When she was back in Ohio, she falsely confessed to a murder. She must have known that if somehow her confession was believed, she would have been sent to prison for a long time. When she was arrested for trespassing in Florida, she told the police that she wanted to go to jail. When she was arrested for violating probation in Ohio, she appeared to be excited about going to jail. Before she allegedly killed Julian Wood, she shoplifted knives and carried one in plain view while walking through a supermarket. And she committed the alleged murder in broad daylight in a parking lot after being captured on multiple video surveillance cameras. She must have known there was little chance of escape. Perhaps law enforcement should have listened to Bionca when she requested incarceration. Bionca kept failing to get into prison. Therefore, she committed a crime which definitely achieved her objective. Item number 4. Wanting to be in prison may explain why Bionca committed the crime, but why did she select Julian Wood as her target? Some people have suggested that his race could be involved, a point which the mainstream media refuses to mention in any way, thereby restricting a meaningful dialogue on the topic. In my opinion, Bionca selected Julian because he was an easy target. He was only 3 years old and was in a shopping cart. Julian had absolutely no way to defend himself. Bionca knew that her chances of killing him were reasonably high. Furthermore, killing a 3-year-old is a heinous crime and precludes any possible defense based on provocation. It's not like anyone could argue that Julian started the fight or that he was killed in self-defense. Bionca wanted to commit a clear-cut murder that was so horrible there was no chance she would be released from prison. As far as a possible racial motive, the only evidence that Bionca targeted Julian based on his race, beyond the fact that he was white, was her claim that she killed a white bartender in California. This is not enough to charge her with a hate crime. Plus, the state of Ohio probably doesn't want to go down that road anyway. They will be able to convict her of aggravated murder, which carries a penalty of either life in prison without parole or death. In my opinion, race was probably not a factor, although I don't think it should be dismissed out of hand by the media. It's definitely something worth talking about, considering the evidence in this case. Item number 5, Bionca's only chance of avoiding a conviction is to be found not guilty by reason of insanity. To successfully mount this defense in Ohio, a defendant must prove that, as a result of severe mental disease or defect, they did not know the wrongfulness of their acts. The burden of proof is on the defendant, and they must establish their insanity by a preponderance of the evidence. The insanity defense is always a long shot, but in Bionca's case, she pretty much has no chance of succeeding. Bionca's mother suggested that Bionca had psychosis. This may or may not be true, but whatever Bionca's symptoms are, they did not drastically interfere with her functioning. During her arrest for the violation of probation, Bionca understood the officer and communicated just fine. In the time leading up to the alleged murder, Bionca acted with a clear purpose. She shoplifted knives, selected a vulnerable target in a supermarket, followed her target into a parking lot, fatally attacked him, and walked away from the scene. She also acted with a purpose at her arraignment, when she gave the judge a hard time and pretended like she didn't know if she had been given a copy of the indictment. Bionca was being deliberately obstinate and disagreeable. She selected a behavior which would delay the proceedings. On top of all the other factors I mentioned, Bionca appears to be incredibly resourceful. For example, she made it to California and Florida, but nobody seems to know how. She is a person who knows how to establish and accomplish her goals. Bionca clearly knew the wrongfulness of her acts. This is exactly why she selected murder as her crime. Now moving to my final thoughts. The theme of this case is invisibility. Bionca was simply an inconvenience to the criminal justice system. No one was interested in dealing with her any more than necessary. She communicated to law enforcement that she was dangerous, she wanted to go to jail, she falsely confessed to a murder, and she was unresponsive during a court proceeding. But the system kept setting her free. In the moments leading up to the alleged murder, Bionca maintained her invisibility. Shoppers in the supermarket walked right by her as she was carrying a knife. There was nothing she could do to get their attention. But that changed a few moments later. Bionca Ellis has finally achieved her goals. Now she is both visible and incarcerated. Those are my thoughts in the case of Bionca Ellis. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.